I just stuck a bull. This bull has been sounding gnarly, nasty. On my right, there's two bulls fighting. I can see them going, their bodies moving back and forth between the trees. And then all of a sudden I hear this. There's another bull right there. Walking through those aspens.
I shot him. You didn't hear that?
No. We both just shot the same bull.
I shot him first.
He shot him first. Oh my gosh. What a heck of a pursuit, dude. All freaking day.
When your buddy calls you, says you got a buck down. And what does he got? A buck down.
Look what I found.
What a sweet coos, man. Opening day, heck yeah. Way to go, Steve.
Built mountain tough, Scree Gear offers hunters the highest quality clothing for affordable prices. With patterns designed by military concealment specialists, Scree Gear brings you closer to the game without being detected. With every climate in mind, Scree Gear hosts a huge selection of clothing for all the terrains of North America and beyond. Check out Scree Gear today at www.screegear.com. Use promo code BowhuntingAZ for 15% off your first order.
National Automotive Repair is a locally owned and operated auto repair shop in the heart of Phoenix, Arizona. Jake McLaughlin and his team operate their business with a foundation of honesty, quality, and integrity. From routine oil changes to larger mechanical repairs, National Automotive can solve your issues and have you back in operation. The shop is located right off of I-17 and Thunderbird off Sweetwater Avenue, or call Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5:30 at 602-978-3278. Arizona Archery Club is a premier partner with Bowhunting AZ. When it comes to attention to detail and a fiery passion, Arizona Archery Club brings it all to the table. With all the latest bows and archery equipment, you can demo every single model in person free of charge in their multiple demo rooms. Walk through the process with an experienced bow tech and see which bow is right for you without the sales pressure. Their indoor archery range offers air-conditioned lanes where you can shoot out to 40 yards. Take this awesome opportunity to hone in your accuracy and technique. When you visit, be sure to mention that you're a listener to the Bowhunting AZ podcast. Let's all support local. Real estate agents, are you looking to make your listing stand out? Arizona Listing Media has been transforming real estate listings since 2013 with their 5-star Google-rated services. Arizona Listing Media offers stunning photography, captivating drone footage, immersive 3D tours, and engaging video reels to showcase your properties at their very best. Are you ready to elevate your marketing game? Visit ArizonaListingMedia.com and book your session today. Let's make your next listing unforgettable. That'll put a little hitch in your giddy up, or what's it called?
Something, whatever.
Little hitch in your giddy up.
Something in your giddy.
Cheers, bud. That's right. You do the. Where did that come from? The table touch.
It's just old school, dude. I don't know. Something in high school, probably.
All right. Let me make sure my audio is synced up here. Let me clap real quick. Okay. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another podcast. No. Welcome to another episode of the Bowhunting AZ podcast. Ooh, it's been a minute. Let me knock the dust off some of this gear here.
Dang, dude.
Today we are going to be talking in this episode series about capturing the hunt. We're going to talk about the camera gear behind our hunting adventures, some of the films that we've done. It is coming around to turkey season. If you guys want to see one of the turkey films that we made.
One of the most epic videos ever.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. Not being biased, but it's pretty good.
Well, not to toot our own horn, but it plays top 5 in the Western Hunter Film Festival.
That's pretty good, dude.
But yeah, so I've, over the years, I'm a media professional by trade. So over the years, I've captured my own stuff, and that's kind of how we got here with all this. Also, to repeat myself over the years again, I've had people just ask questions, hey, I want to get a camera. I want to start doing this. Do I get a GoPro? Will my phone work? I want to spend some money. I got $500 budget. I want to do this and that. And so I figured, heck, why not just throw an episode together that covers all of that?
The stuff that we use. Yeah.
Yeah. Because we haven't yet. I've answered people and stuff, obviously, but like we haven't just put a cohesive episode together that I can just now hit the link and share it and say, yo,
right,
go check this out.
Like, what do you need? Boom. Click it.
Yeah. So to start, you'll probably need at least a minimum of 10 grand.
You'll need your own room.
Yeah. Prepared to probably get a divorce because your wife's going to leave you for all the gear that you're buying. And yeah, good luck.
Hopefully you don't have kids.
You probably want to sell them too so you can buy more camera gear.
Yeah, well, while you're at it, you probably don't need that bow. So,
Yep. Let's see how to tease this up a little bit. All right. Let me start with this. If you decide to, feel free to hit me up and just ask questions, of course, at Bowhunting AZ on Instagram or Facebook. You can drop it in the Facebook group as well. We've got a private Facebook group. Let me preface this whole thing with this. If you come and ask me like, hey, I want to get a camera, I want to start filming stuff. The best thing you could do, let me correlate it with hunting. Hey, I want to get a bow. Okay. What's your budget? Like, how much do you want to spend? Like, cool, go buy the newest Matthews, go buy the newest Bowtech, go buy the flagship. And then all of a sudden you see a $2,500 sticker price and you're like, oh crap.
Yeah. Right.
So I just need to know if you're asking the question like that, the best way to preface that to anybody that you're asking is just like, hey, I want to get into this. Here's how much I can spend right now.
Right. Yeah, I think you put that perfect.
It's probably like asking, hey, I want to start doing work on my car. What tools do I need?
Snap on.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I mean, we'll dive into that a little bit more. Because obviously you've had background, and then so like just along the way using your gear, and then like I was in the same predicament of like, what do I buy? All this equipment so I can have something to roll with you. And yeah, we'll start getting into that later and stuff like that. But
yeah,
but I was lucky enough to have pretty much a mentor in you of the filming and helping me. And I took a little bit of class in high school, but you obviously definitely showed me some stuff further along the way.
You're just a natural.
Well, I'm a natural behind the camera, or in front of the camera. I don't know, whatever it is. However that saying goes. But yeah.
Thanks for bringing this cowboy bourbon, dude. This is bomb.
Yeah. No, it's delicious. Yeah. Delicious.
It's the 10th anniversary.
It is.
What's the proof on that? Ooh. He almost did what I did.
142 or 140.2.
140.2.
Yeah, don't grab it right here.
Yeah, I know. I did that too. It was a mistake.
So, I guess, what got you into, and I can go into this too as well, but what kind of got you into trying to start filming your own hunts, really?
Sure. I think initially, like I said, I'm media by trade. That's what I do for work. So when I started coming out and was like, oh, dude, I could do some cool photos or stuff like that, I just wanted to tell the story of me getting into hunting because I was older getting into it.
Right.
So I was like, well, I already do this for work. I might as well start bringing my camera out here and there and do some cool photos and stuff. And
yeah,
I never had any intention of like trying to full on film things really or what. It just kind of was all of a natural process.
Okay.
And I think initially when I started doing some of my own media, I wasn't even filming. I was just taking pictures, because was the main core of my business that I do is photography. So,
well, yeah, it's hard to film yourself. Just starting out. Now you could probably do it, but it's just like not knowing what shot scenes and stuff like that to capture. But
that's something good to preface too. Is like a lot of people think they want to do this. And I'll be completely honest, and they've probably noticed maybe on the channel a little bit, but like it can absolutely be a little bit of a thief of joy of the hunt.
100%. Yeah.
if you're going into this to try and make like a solid film, something that you could put up at a film festival
You're
and
going to
compete
miss
with,
a lot of things because you're going to be focused a lot on just trying to capture that moment.
you're a videographer first, you're a hunter second.
Yeah.
And so like taking the kill shot doesn't happen for you as a hunter if you can't capture it on film. Because if you have a hunting film, and some people might disagree, and you can get away with this on occasion, but at the end of the day, if you're trying to make a film, a hunting film, a successful hunt, people want to see the kill shot. And so if you continuously produce films, but you're never showing any kill shot on camera, it's like kind of a buzzkill for the viewer.
Right.
And so there's ways to still articulate the kill, I guess, like if you do miss the shot, you know, but yeah, I mean, you could always, you know, people might poo-poo this, but I know that this happens a lot in the hunting industry, is where people in a second location or something may take a shot that's a third person view or something, and it's not really the kill shot, but they post it into the film as if it's the kill shot. Yeah.
As if it is.
Just to help tell the story.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's necessarily a negative. That's up to the videographer if they want to do that or not. But I know a boatload, even some of the most household names in the hunting industry that do that.
Yeah, it's not knocking it because you're still getting the actual footage of it. It's, you know, so it's just being able to have backup options, really.
Yeah.
You know?
At the end of the day, like I said, it's about telling the story. So as long as you can do it and it looks organic and you're telling the story still, like that's up to you to decide if you want to do that in there or not.
But back to the, I guess the story or the importance of it, like you were saying, is like if you're getting into this to try and tell a story, and thinking that it's, you know, you just go out there and have fun and you're gonna get the capture or the moment or whatever, you've got to go into it, like you said, being a videographer first.
Yep.
And I've done it where like we're out there and filming, and I've missed a couple of things where, because I'm so invested in watching you get the shot and like being able to see it instead of actually getting it on the film and seeing, you know, it's like,
sure,
because you're there in the moment and you're there to cheer on your buddy or whoever, you know, and or your father or whoever is with you. Yep. And so it does kind of rob a little bit of that experience.
That's a good point, because you and I are a hunting duo, right?
Right.
And so normally you're like watching me. Maybe you're trying to help me and watch my arrow, watch the animal, how it ran away.
Right.
That's because we're hunters. And so like you're invested in that. Whereas like learning that, okay, well now I'm a camera guy, my eyes should only be on the screen.
Right. I shouldn't really be focusing on anything else other than making sure I've got that in frame.
Sure. And vice versa, me for you.
Yeah.
That's tough because I want to help
Super
you.
tough.
I want to see where your arrow hit. Well, you're like, oh, dude, the shot felt good. I'm like, oh, that was maybe might have been far back, or maybe this, or like, then I can't give you that advice because, like, well, I don't know. I was watching it on camera. So,
yeah.
But we could always review the film too, which I will throw that in there. Reviewing kill shots on film is very nice, because then if you have that second guess, because like otherwise you only have in your mind's eye to replay that, how it went down. But then you could be like, oh, dude, let's look at film real quick and see what happened.
And I don't know if this is going off way topic or if it's going further, but like, for instance, in Texas, where where me and you both sitting in a blind, but no, we had this coal buck, 7-point buck that was walking in like 30 yards or whatever, and I thought I smoked him, dude. I was like, he's done. He's toast, you know? And you had it on film, so good thing, you know, obviously you were in focus of being the camera guy. And later on, we ended up looking on that camera, and sure enough, it was just, it was still, it had to have been a lethal shot, but it was just further back than I thought. And I don't know, to me, I still thought, I was just like, that's double lung, I smoked him. Like, he's gone, you know, but apparently not. I couldn't find him.
They're tough. They're super tough.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll tee that up a little bit. Start with asking you. So ask questions. Start with also giving your budget when you're deciding to reach out and ask somebody and get into this. I would say also that it will help drastically if you maybe go do some YouTube University and do have some basic knowledge of video and how it works.
100%.
You're going to have to know what aperture is. You're going to have to know what ISO is. You're going to have to know shutter speed. If you're videoing, we're talking a lot about video, but we're doing photos too.
Right.
But if you're videoing, you're gonna have to know that you need whatever your frame rate is, you should have double the shutter speed. If you don't, you're gonna have major problems when you go and, you know, try and edit if you're way lower than that or whatever. And then, if you went and bought a camera and you never changed your frame rate and it's on 30 FPS and you want to go and slow the kill shot down to 12%, it ain't going to work. Yeah.
Good luck, dude. Yeah.
So there's things like that you should know. And it helps a ton if you already have that knowledge kind of in the background. There's some cool crash courses. There's a guy named Jared Polin, Frono's Photo, that I learned from back in the day. He has a video guide. I don't know if he still has it. You might be able to look it up and find it. But I watched his photo guide and his video guide. That's when I first got into it in 2012. Those both taught me everything I needed to know.
I would also say there's probably a bunch of Facebook groups you can go into, but
probably that'd be a lot of information to absorb over Facebook, though.
Yeah, but the other thing is just start out like what you did, really. I mean, originally, but I would start out with photos first, really, because you can get used to it and you know what your aperture is going to need to be and all that.
Right.
Instead of just full blown going, I'm going to film this whole hunt. I'm all right, good luck, dude.
Yeah, because for instance, if you have an f2.8 aperture and your focus is on the subject to the hunter, but there's an animal and he's taking a kill shot, that animal's going to be blurry.
Yeah, you're not going to see what's behind him.
You're not going to see nothing. So you need to know what aperture is and how to work it. Now you can, and I do suggest also if you're not fully learned and you're getting out there right away and you are just filming stuff, you can always throw the camera in auto. Guys will make fun of you. The experienced guys might razz you a little bit and make fun of you, but who cares? At the end of the day, start in auto, get at least filming. I would say even more important than the settings and everything else, the number one most important thing is composition.
Yeah. Learning
how to compose a shot, learning the rule of thirds and what that is.
Yep.
And then once you learn rule of thirds, go and watch a movie or TV afterwards and see how often the rule of thirds is used. You'll never be able to unsee it. So you're welcome for that mind inception there that I just did. But look, go watch a cinematic movie. What's the Jim Bridger movie? I'm drawing a blank. Brain fart. He gets attacked by the grizzly bear.
Oh, that's Jim Bridger? I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
But that's Revenant.
The Revenant. Yeah. Go watch The Revenant and then try and pick out rule of thirds. Google what rule of thirds is first and then go watch that.
Like a raw cut film movie almost, too.
They used that camera right there that we're filming this podcast with, the video version, and they only did it with natural light. There is no artificial lighting in that entire movie, which is crazy. So
you can kind of tell because it's a pretty dark, dark lit film too, more or less.
Which it should be, right? It's taking place in the pioneer Western days, So yeah. So let's kind of break down a little bit. So we'll get back on track.
What do we get?
So we'll kind of
yeah.
We'll jump into the camera gear and everything. Let's talk about. I guess we'll break into photography first.
Right. That's what you usually started out with.
That is what I started out with. Yeah. So we'll kind of talk about the starting point. The starting point for me, for those that are watching the video version, this is the Nikon D810. This is what I originally, started my media business with. As you can tell, it's well loved. So this is a DSLR, okay, which means it's got a big shutter in it, and you just hear this when you. Let me see if I can get it to. Yeah, you hear that. Everybody knows that sound. Just camera shutter. Yeah, camera shutter.
What are you?
Yo.
You all right, bro?
No.
They're
They're usually very heavy. The bodies. So there's two different things. This is called. Can I see that Sony right there?
Yeah.
This is called a camera body, which is the main camera, right? It's got your screen, it's got your viewfinder, it's got your buttons up top, and it's got the camera shutter button on it. Mm-hmm. This is a body. So sometimes when you say, well, I want to buy a camera, I'm like, okay, cool. Well, you want to buy a body or a lens? It's it's comparable to buying a rifle.
Right.
The body of a camera is the rifle itself.
Yep.
And then the scope would be the lens or the glass is another term that you'll see. So people typically will always say that you can take any body of a camera and put baller glass on it and it's going to look good. Glass typically will do better.
Yeah. I mean, I was just going to say that too. That was a great comparison because you can have you know, a phenomenal, you can have this top of the line rifle, that custom built rifle, right?
Yeah.
But if you have this cheap little Tasco scope on it or whatever, it's like,
Tasco. Yep.
dude, you know, what are you doing here, man? Like you're just killing it.
Right.
Where it's kind of different, where like you can have this awesome body of a camera, but what makes it like stand out is that lens. Like the lens
100%.
is what is going to give you that crispiness, that
Yep.
I don't know, just that color, obviously everything.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just the lens quality is what makes the difference.
Big thing for high quality glass too is like Swarovski, edge to edge clarity.
Yeah,
Because typically a cheaper lens, you can tell around the vignette or the circular pattern of a shot, like a photo, it'll get less clear away from the center. So that's something that you can tell. Now that's not to say that there aren't good third-party options. We use mostly third-party glass and they work wonderfully. They're getting a lot better.
When he says third party, Sony has their own lens.
Yep. Nikon has their own glass.
Yeah.
lenses.
And then so like this is a third party company called Tamron that makes this lens, and it's like a, what do they want to, I'm trying to think of the word, but it's a
telephoto.
yeah, telephoto lens to where you can get from like 28 all the way up to 300 or 200 or something like that. And it's still like a f2.8, and then I think it goes up to like a 5. But
Yeah, so that's a variable aperture. So the more you zoom in, the more the aperture changes. Whereas, well, we'll get into all that. So yeah, you've got these different lenses. So we got the body and then the lens. Okay, and there's another one called Sigma. We don't really use that. I've got some Sigma lenses, but I use them for other stuff. So that's one. So that's the Nikon DSLR. I use a 16 to 35 wide angle, and this is what I originally started taking some of our pictures with. So the Nikon D810 DSLR, this Nikon 16 to 35 lens, which is a wide angle lens, right? You're not doing far away shots with that at all. That's for, I do a lot of star photography with that.
so you get a lot of stuff that comes into that lens.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's well, that one's an f4, but the Nikon D810 is a beast of a low light camera.
Yeah.
So you'll have different bodies too that cater to different situations. There are some that are like sports cameras where they do stupid high frame rates, like 30 frames a second. You'll just hear grrr, and that shutter's going. That's for getting like soccer and football. You have other ones like the Nikon D810. I think mine only does like 10. It's not very 10 or 12 frames a second. It's not very fast in how many images it captures. But this sensor is a beast. I can do like super crazy dark stuff, and there's no noise, which is also like that graininess look that you get if it's a low light. So this thing can handle that stuff all day long and just chew through it like it's no problem. That's why I have that. I prefer low light stuff, especially for as hunters.
Well, because I mean, you're usually out early morning or late night or afternoon, whatever. So
what happens if it's like first light and you're able to see that animal and take the shot, ethically and legally, but your camera can't do it? Well, then crap, like you're screwed.
Yeah.
So having something like that that's able to handle the low light is really important. Circular polarizing filter. I have a circular polarizer on this. Now, what that does is it's a filter that you screw onto the front. Every front of a lens is threaded. And so you can take this circular polarizer and you can thread it onto the front of the lens, and it'll actually turn, and it works just like polarized sunglasses, like how you can see through water with sunglasses.
Like sun glare and all that stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. And so sometimes you'll see, if you've ever looked through one on a camera, you can spin it because it free spins, and you'll see the sky all of a sudden get dark and blue and like that perfect color. And that'll take glare out of things. It'll darken the sky up a little bit for you. It just works a ton.
I also like them because they kind of just act like a little bit of a protector, more or less.
Yes, that's the other thing too. It does 100% being out there. Like if you were to drop your camera, say it's on a tripod, like how we're filming right now, and if that tripod were to knock over, it's your polarizer that's taking the hit and not your lens, which is better. A polarizer is what, $60, $80, but your lens could be 700, 800. And so like better that than
crack a freaking lens.
Crack glass, because then your lens is screwed and you're done.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was the Nikon DSLR. Then you and me both upgraded to mirrorless, which is the Sony's.
Which is this, yes.
Much smaller, a lot more like weight reduction, which is nice for guys that are hiking far. You know, if we're doing 10, 12 mile days, I do not want to carry a DSLR with me.
Right. Well, and DSLR, like from what I remember, was like, I don't know, maybe this was back in, like I said, in high school when I took a photo class, but DSLR was like the Mac Daddy back then.
Yep.
Like, you know, like 2008, 2009, I remember DSLR was like, whew, that was the stuff. Mm-hmm. Now you got these mirrorless ones where it's just night and day difference. You don't have that,
Yep.
you know, and going on. And
so you can shoot silent on them, which is nice.
Yep.
Especially in like a deer situation or,
Yep.
or elk or whatever you're hunting. Say you have an animal coming in and you want to shoot silently and capture some photos while it's coming in.
yeah,
You could do that and it would never hear a thing.
yeah.
Which is pretty dope. But yeah, so the Sony, this is the Sony A7 III. Gonna go grab something? Will you grab me an ice ball on the way back?
Yeah.
All right. So this is the Sony A7 III. Now this also, what's cool about a lot of the DSLRs, they didn't have an articulating screen. They had a screen on the back because they're digital, but they were embedded into the camera. It couldn't change at all. It's just a flat surface that stayed with the body. What's cool is a lot of the mirrorless cameras now, since they're innovating so much, is they have this articulating screen that pops out and it can move up, it can move down. So depending on what position you're in, if you're sitting or if you're higher than the camera, you don't have to bend your neck all weird, which really kind of sucked, honestly. It was like, it's called chimping. You had to like sit there and like try and pick at your camera and like chimp at the back of it. Whereas now you can just move the screen around to see perfectly however you need to, no matter what position you're in. So the articulating screen is a huge bonus. So Jake and I both upgraded to the Sony A7 III. This thing has been a beast and still is a beast. We originally, it's just lighter, it's faster, it's got better autofocus, great low light performance. We originally started, I think I bought the 28-200 first for a lens. And then I did end up buying a wide angle later because I do use these for work as well. So I bought the Tamron 28-200. It's an f2.8 to 5.6. So the more I zoom in, the more the aperture changes. That is an awesome all-in-one lens for capturing any sort of like wildlife, distance, tight shots. I filmed Jake's Coos deer kill shot with it. If you guys look at that video on YouTube, it's a 2-part series in 2022, I think, that he shot and killed his Coos deer. And we filmed most of that with this A7 III, including the kill shot, which was kind of, I think it was like 283 yards or something like that. I did end up buying the Tamron 17-28 f2.8. Now that is a solid f2.8. No matter how much you zoom in, it stays f2.8 all the way through. Typically a lens that does something like that is going to be a little bit more because you're paying money to have that solid aperture all the way through, which is more of a engineering feat for people to do. Now that Tamron 17-28 f2.8 is more ideal for like wide landscapes, any sort of like maybe cool hunting camp photos or anything. Like I like getting tents at night that are like lit up under the stars. Cool shots like that I think are pretty dope.
We've had so many, like,
Yeah.
all like the stars and everything, and
I love getting star photos. That's like some of my favorite.
it just looks so epic.
I did one for the CK with the Milky Way going over their CK's sign.
That was
Texas.
like that. I think I still have it saved on my phone just because how epic that freaking photo was. But of when we were bear hunting.
Oh yeah.
When we were looking through the spotting scope, because like the moon was so sick that night.
Oh yeah, that and your Jeep. We did one with your Jeep there too.
With the Jeep, yeah. But the moon was just so epic, and we were like, dude, I bet we could check it out with the spotting scope. So we're like, all right. And then I didn't even think about it, but you're behind me over there with the with the camera, and it just came out epic, dude.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I like cool shots like that.
But the other thing with that is you need to have it in like a super low setting to be able to do that.
Yeah, typically your shutter speed's going to be very slow.
Super slow, yeah.
Your ISO is going to be way jacked up high. So the higher your ISO goes, the more sensitive your sensor is to light. And that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to pick up all these stars and stuff like that. And you're trying to put your shutter speed way up. So you're kind of, it's called opening the camera up as much as possible. You want a very low aperture. So like if you have f2.8, you want to go to f2.8.
I was gonna say if you have a lens, you want that all the way down so you can get as much in as you can.
Take off that circular polarizer.
Yeah, that's true too.
Because that blocks light.
It's gonna blur it because it's dark.
Yep. That'll block light a little bit. So you take that off for that situation. But yeah, you can do some really cool stuff.
Like I remember I think it was either opening morning during the turkey hunt. Like we were hearing them super early that morning, and it was like still dark.
Yeah,
and I was worried that because like it sounded like those turkeys were coming in like hot, but it was like still like you can see in front of you, but in the camera it's like I just couldn't get it bright enough. And I was like, dang it, this turkey's gonna come in and I can't get justice. I can't get it, you know. I was like, And it was frustrating me real bad, but it all worked out, man.
I'm trying to think, did we have that video camera yet? I don't know if we did or not. We might.
No, I think we were still.
No, we did. We had
Really?
that. Yeah, because that's what got us the slow mo. That you could see the pellets coming out and hitting the bird.
Okay, it wasn't that one, huh?
No, it wasn't this. It was that one. It was, yeah. Yeah, I had to second guess myself there for a second.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I guess I could just go into it, but like, I ended up buying a camera because, like I was telling you, I wanted something to where we could both be able to get content for each other.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
And so, like, I was just trying to see, okay, what can I do to help out and bring content to help us,
right?
Make sure we're getting all the footage we need. I mean, otherwise, I just wanted to try and attribute to a little bit of it, and so that's why I was okay. This is the camera that you're using. This is the camera that I'm going to buy. Yep. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's that way. It's universal. We're all used to it. You can grab it if we need to. Same settings, everything. So we just know what we're using.
Yeah. That was a big plus for sure. Just being able to like change seamlessly and not have to worry about it.
Yes. I mean, I bought the same lenses, or I think I bought that lens, and then you're like, okay, I'm going to buy the same lens. And then polarizer. Okay, I'm going to buy the same polarizer, you know? So it was just nice to be able to easily transition into, okay, let me pick up your camera real quick. Boom, boom.
Yeah.
We're good.
Heck yeah.
So,
yep.
Yeah.
All right, let's transition a little bit into the videography part. So we've talked about photos. Videography and videoing our hunt. I won't be able to show this camera because we're using it to record right now, but it looks very similar to this Sony a7 III, except for the video camera we use is a Sony a7S.
Right. And that's not to say that the Sony a7 III is not good at video. It is.
It does great video, but the Sony a7S is a dedicated video camera. It still does really good photos, and I do use it on occasion for photos, but it's more of like when I'm in a pinch. I wouldn't try and go do star photography with it.
Not with that, no.
Yeah, no. First light and last light, it's going to struggle. However, on video, though, first light and last light, it's going to look just banger. Like, it's going to look awesome. I can, I think when I shoot, like, some of my Twilight stuff, I'm at, like, 12,800 ISO, which is crazy high, you know? Usually, like, I would say, quote-unquote, pushing ISOs, like, 3,500. But, like, I'll shoot 12,800 and there's zero noise in that thing. Like it just pushes and just plows right through it. No problem.
Okay.
So in terms of like very low light, that is a beast of a camera.
Yeah.
It also does 4K footage at 120 frames a second.
So when you're talking about slow-mo,
I can.
That's what you want, right?
I think I've pushed that camera down to like as far as 5 to 3% to get an arrow twisting through the air, rotating, flying, and hitting an animal. Like that thing's baller. So if you want super slow-mo and to see the flight of an arrow or whatever, or like capturing our turkey film, you can see the pellets flying through the air and hitting the head of the turkey and dropping it. just crazy stuff. So you need a high frames per second camera in order to do that.
To be able to capture that.
Yep. What's cool about this Sony A7 III, our photo camera, and the Sony A7S, it's all the same lens mount. They're all an E mount.
They're all E mounts.
So they can use the same, Tamron 28 to 200. It can use the same Tamron 17 to 28.
Somebody's honking a horn.
Yeah. We're podcasting in my garage. So forgive us for any noises.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah. So we can use either of those lenses on the photo or the video camera. Yeah, sorry.
The body.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, like what this same lens that we've had on our A7 III, now we can use that same exact lens because it's got the same mount onto this new A7S, the videography body.
Yep.
So that's what's cool about it. It's almost like having a sight on a bow.
Yeah.
To where it's like if you have the right adapter for it, you can put it on different bows. You can have it on different manufacturers or whatever. But yeah, it's kind of that same thought. So.
Exactly. Yeah. And what's cool is like, say you're filming something and you need an epic like landscape wide angle shot, so you can film that with the 17 to 28.
Right.
And get that shot, and then in less than probably 10 seconds, you can swap out and put a 28 to 200 on there and get like a long telephoto of a buck coming in or something like real quick and start filming that or whatever.
Right. What did you shoot that like my Coos deer hunt?
That was the 28 to 200.
Okay, so that was this.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I talked about that. I think we did maybe use these Sony A7.
We didn't have that camera yet.
No, so we did use this.
So.
I'm going to go out and put an arrow in that person's car.
Watch it be like some boy trying to take the chick out for
there is a kid across the street that's been dating.
Come on.
There's a kid across the street that's been talking to this guy's daughter.
Quintessential, like, dude, if this kid's going to honk the horn for my daughter to go out there on a date or whatever, like, I'm going to whoop this kid's butt.
I talked to him the other night, and he was actually pretty nice, so.
Well, not right now. If that's the
kid, right now he's pissing me off.
I think he's edging you, dude.
Yeah, he's like, hey, look, I got a bullseye on the side of my car.
Dude, keeps honking the horn. Anyway.
Huh. Oh, it is. All right. Well.
It's not my truck, right?
No, there's no one out front. All right, so that's the Sony A7S. That's the video system that we use. You do need a special memory card for those. So all of these cameras do take memory cards too. Typically, on average, you can just go with whatever memory card that you buy. It's an SD card. Let's see if I have one in here. I don't have one in that one. But it requires a special one because you're recording that 4K footage. You're going to need a very high grade card that can handle something like that.
Right.
Yeah. So let's kind of dive into a little bit. Before we leave the video thing, let's talk about the importance of slow-mo in hunting videos. Because that's obviously like the big thing, right? We want to slow down. Like one of my favorite.
You always want to see the shot. That's the biggest
one
thing.
of my favorite Under Armour films is I don't think they do the UA hunt films anymore, but it was a dad with his two sons in Colorado, and this one's a rifle hunt. And you can see the bullet going like, dude, he's got to be doing that 5 to 10%. Right. Yeah, and you see that ripple of the what's that called coming off the bullet?
Trying to get scientific, bro. I'm not.
No, it's not scientific. It's
yeah, sure. The Coriolis effect?
No, not the Coriolis effect, but it's that heat coming off the bullet, and you can see the wave, the vapor trail. That's what it is.
Yeah.
You can see you can see the vapor trail from the bullet, but then you do see it hit that buck, and you see a circular ripple go around. It's just so slow mo. It's gangster, and you see the buck actually. It's cold, so you see the buck's back legs buckle, and then you see him shoot fog out of his nose because that air is exiting, and then you actually see steam come out the bullet hole too, which is dope. That'd be dope. But so that's what you can do with that high frame rate stuff, and then same thing for an arrow. You can get that slow motion going. You you can see it hit or whatever, and then see it run off or whatever. So that's all
Right.
cool stuff that you can do with that slow motion from video stuff.
But yeah, like you said, it takes some things to be able to get to that instead of, I mean, you got to know how to get to the right settings. So it does definitely take some knowledge to be able to get to that point.
Yep. That's it. Get this one out again.
But yeah, I mean, that's the quintessential shot. Everybody wants that, that super slow mo, like where you get this whole build up. You're like, okay, we got, you get this whole stock or whatever you get on this animal. You get this whole build up of the story, and then you slow it down.
Yeah.
It gets like super slow.
Yeah.
And then you're like,
You play some intense music, and then something like
and you
ominous.
just see the freaking bullet just rippling through the air, or the arrow, just,
right?
But
Heck yeah.
it's so sick,
Gangsta. Gangsta stuff.
But yeah, and so obviously, yeah, like we were talking about earlier, another reason for it, to be able to see your shot placement, to be able to track what it's going to be.
Yep.
If you got a gut shot, if you got a liver, if you got a lung, if you got a heart, whatever.
100-yard heart shot bombs, dude. Every time.
Or you can do a 30-yard liver shot. Yeah.
Hey, there you go. Yeah. People say the closer they get, the harder it is.
Yeah, that's why my shots have always been tough.
Hey, look at that. The wife's home. Better not have been her doing it.
Yeah, was she the one honking the whole damn time?
I don't think so. Maybe it was Cindy, actually. No, she dropped her off first. So those are camera systems that we use. One's photo, one's video. The next thing we can talk about a little bit too, another tool in the arsenal per se, is this bad chicken right here. So this is the DJI Mavic 3 Pro, but drones.
Oh, this is a new one, huh?
Yeah, this is that bad chicken, dude.
When did you get that?
Right before Africa.
Okay.
I got told I was going to Africa, and I was like, I'm an upgrade.
I need this.
So yeah, drones have become a massive part in telling the story of filming hunts.
Being able to capture like the surrounding environment that you're in. So like, being able to just zoom out or get up high, see the whole like ridges of what you're like, the mass severity of what environment you're in, right?
Like, hey, I'm in this giant landscape. We're in
you see like
Idaho bear hunting. Look at these crazy mountains.
these huge canyons, or like you're in Alaska and you're getting this gnarliest freaking mountain and this summit, whatever, and just to see the severity of how much work you put in or where these animals live, and just kind of get that view.
Hell yeah.
So
I have some super cool shots that are probably my favorite of like flying over pines just as the tops are getting kissed by the sun at like first light. Like it's just the dopest looking stuff. Or
sick.
golden hour, that last hour of light. It's just super golden right before sunset. It's awesome.
Or just giving you a different angle. So like with that turkey, obviously we had the drone where once we already had the turkey down, right? We ended up getting back to camp and just giving you like a cool angle of just like being able to get over that turkey and just admire and see it and just show you just different angles. It's cool.
Yeah, that was a cool photo. I think that's probably one of my top 5 favorite shots of the drone above us with the turkey down and it's all spread out and then the shotgun and the hunter. It's just cool story to tell in one shot.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are super powerful for telling the story. This drone in particular does 4K video, and it also does 48 megapixel photos, which is like super high quality stuff. I bought the Fly More combo, which comes with 2 extra batteries and some ND filters and some other things. I think out the door was like $3,500, which I get isn't for everyone, but I use it for work, so I need it for business. So
yeah.
But yeah, with drones, there are obviously legal considerations. So I'm sure people are screaming, "Oh, you can't use a drone on a hunt!" So here's some caveats. Hobbyists are allowed to fly a drone. You need to register it. You go to FAA website and you register. It's like $5, no matter who you are, whether you're using it for work or for fun. You register your drone right away. $5 gets it done and taken care of. If you're doing commercial work for it, like if I get hired by a company and they say, hey, we want you to film some hunt stuff and we'd like some, they'd probably, whether they say it or not, if you're using the drone to film that stuff, if there's any sort of exchange, monetary exchange, gift exchange, whatever, it's considered for work. You need to have an FAA 107 license for drone. I've got one. I've had it since the day it came out. Always check your airspace. Now, if we're hunting, that tends to be super rural. There's probably not an airport nearby, but there always can be wildfires. And you never know. Sometimes they throw up these massive TFRs, which is total flight restriction, if there's a fire nearby. So if you're within, I've seen upwards of like 30-mile restrictions for fire efforts that are going on. So be aware. And there's apps that you need to use. Air Control is one of the apps that I use. It'll let you know if there's a TFR nearby. You'll see a massive thing, and that's up to you to know all that stuff, whether you're a hobbyist or commercial.
Yeah. The other thing is you never want ever use it to aid into hunting, obviously.
Yes, that's obvious. That should be a no-brainer. They are banned by Game and Fish to use in the assistance of hunting. There's deer over there. Sweet, I'm gonna find them with the drone, and we're gonna track it. No, dude, not. Here's another hot tip too. Be careful what you're filming, because people will recognize right away where you're at. So hot tip, I don't film hardly ever with my drone where I'm actually hunting. I might film similar landscape. So if I'm that ice ball ain't gonna fit there, all son.
Oh, it will.
If I'm filming in the pines, I'll go to the neighboring unit and go film something with my drone over there. And it looks similar landscape. Maybe you can't see. I'd really try and stay away from filming mountain lines, like horizons, basically. Maybe go film in another unit or something like that. And then
just a different area of the unit, whatever.
Yeah, very different area. So, pines, film a different pine area. Juniper, film a different juniper area, et cetera.
I know what mountain that is.
Yeah.
That rock, I've sat on that rock.
That's happened before, unfortunately. So just got to be careful.
My name's carved in that tree. Okay, sure.
But yeah, so make sure you check your airspace. Be careful what you show and all that. One of the cool things too, like we talked about, was just like filming with the drone. Filming a walking up shot after a successful hunt is like a super cool thing. We did that in Texas. With the father-son hunt that we did. Yeah. We got you and your dad walking up to a buck that you guys had shot, and we're flying up overhead with the drone, like lower, but flying up overhead, and you guys are walking up onto the buck for the first time and seeing it and stuff like that. That was a dope shot to do.
The other thing, like, not even necessarily with the drone, but like just in general, of like, if you're trying to get the scene of walking up on the animal and all that stuff. If you're doing it by yourself, that's a whole different situation. It kind of like you almost have to go up to the animal, see it, and place it, and then you start the recording, walk up to it, and so that's kind of like, it's not organic, right? To where like
kind of.
Yeah, but like in your knowing in your head, it's not organic, right? But like to the viewer, it's like, okay, well, here he is walking up to the animal.
So what's hard, let me throw in real quick. What's hard, and is typically what we've done, is I'm like, hey, I know, like, we know the animal's right there.
So you go ahead first.
The person that has killed it knows the animal's right there, and they really want to go see that animal. But if you're doing it for the video, the purpose of video, the videographer needs to get over there first.
But I was just saying, for like reference, when we had the coos deer hunt, I ended up smoking that coos deer, and we ended up getting close, and we ended up noticing.
That thing was good.
So we were like, okay, we're walking up to him, and then you're like, I don't know, whoever it was, we're like, okay, there he is.
Yep.
And you're like, all right, hang back, let me get up there, and I'll catch you walking into it. Mm-hmm. So obviously you got set, and you're like, all right, come on in. So I still as a hunter, have not been able to walk up and see this deer,
and that's organic.
And so my reaction obviously is still true and organic, where, the cameraman, is being able to see the animal first, obviously, get set up, get ready.
I think that's the way to do it, honestly.
Instead of like the guy who shot it, or if you're a solo person, whatever, the person who shot it, then you're trying to get the reaction of you walking up to the animal,
Right.
with it on a tripod already and everything.
Yeah.
It's just not as true or organic. Or the only other way I can think of it is if you're walking up to it and you're just holding the camera itself the way it is
Over his shoulder. Like,
or whatever. Just
Yeah.
like you're walking up to the camera yourself and you're like, okay,
Sure.
just shot this deer or whatever, walking up to it and you're
Yeah.
just getting it yourself.
but it looks so much better when you're behind the animal.
Right.
The animal's
Walking
in
up
front
to
of the
it.
cameraman,
Yeah.
and then the hunter's walking up to the animal.
Yeah, grabbing the horns
Yeah.
or whatever.
It looks better that way.
It does.
It does.
Yeah.
So,
So
because you can see the hunter's face. I think that's the point of that shot is to see the face of the hunter.
Yeah.
Especially like, even if it's a solo hunter, even if there's like, father, son, two buddies, and then there's a third
being able to
videographer.
show the joy
Yeah.
that you and your comrade have been able to experience, man.
Like comrade.
Whatever. But you and your partner.
Yep. Yeah, man.
So
Yeah. So that's kind of, I think, pretty good for our first segment. We'll do
Yeah.
a little more in the second.
man.
So now that you guys kind of know what gear we're running in the field, we'll dive more into what happens after the shots are taken. So next, part 2, we'll talk about like editing, storage, raw footage, and telling the story. Maybe some of the challenges of managing like all this 4K footage, because typically you want to like vastly overshoot. That's the worst thing, is to undershoot, and you're like, well, crap, I needed
right.
more stuff, and now
Right.
the hunt's done, it's too late. And that's the big thing about filming hunts, is like you only get to do it, most of the footage you only get to do it once.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
So yeah, just
Otherwise-
kind of how to streamline some of that stuff.
Otherwise, you get to be the guy that's like, oh, you go and you recreate a scene.
Sure.
Nobody wants to do that.
Yeah, it does suck. It's like shooting a wedding, kind of, if for anyone that's a quasi film person or photo person, like, you can't recreate that first kiss. You better damn capture it. Yeah, because otherwise it's...
Yeah, you know what? Can you do that one more
Yeah,
time?
can you do it one more time and pretend you're as excited as you were the first time? So,
or now pronounce man and wife or husband and wife.
Yeah.
Hold on, sir. Can you say that one more time?
Yeah. Okay, now Mr. and Mrs. Like, just not as good as the first time,
No.
But yeah, so we'll cover that in part 2. And thanks for listening, guys. Appreciate you tuning in.
Hope you guys learned some stuff.
Yeah, hope you guys learned something, and hopefully this all helps, for those that are interested in doing some sort of filming of their own.
Yeah, and capturing your own moments.
Oh, there goes that ice ball.
Perfect time.
What a great way to end. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you so much for listening to the Bowhunting AZ podcast. Please be sure to subscribe to the podcast and smash those 5 stars on iTunes or Spotify, and leave a little review at the bottom. It'll really help us out. For our short films, go subscribe over on YouTube. Just search Bowhunting AZ. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Bowhunting AZ. Good luck to everyone this season. Thank you again for listening. We'll catch you in the next episode.